Hey everybody, Scoutcrafter here again. Welcome to Mishmash Monday and also the first day of March. So that's exciting. A couple things I want to tell you. This video was super long at like 27, 28 minutes. I had to cut a ton of stuff out. So if it seems a little bit choppy, please forgive me, but I don't know why I went over so much. First thing, I just want to talk about a good friend of the show by the name of Jack Hughes. We were talking about our mascot the other day, and he says, you know who your mascot looks like? William Devane. And sure enough, he does really do look like him, doesn't he? So thanks very much for that, Jack. Anyway, let's get right into it. Again, it's going to seem a little choppy, but...
Now, I can't tell you how many people have told me they hate the slotted screw, and I used to for a long time, but I have to tell you something. There's a way to get around your hatred for this slotted screw.
And of course, we went through this before. You could see that the regular screwdriver, how much rock. Look at this. Now, this is the kind of screwdriver you'd probably pick because you'd say, oh, it's about the right size. But look when we put it in here. Look how much deflection we can get on that screw, right? So you know that's going to give you a problem. Now, that's when I went to and I bought, this was my first kind of gunsmithing screwdriver set. This was real good. Craftsman, really nice, nicely made. After this, I went... I bought this later on. This is a Wheeler brand. Unfortunately, made in China. A couple things I don't like about Wheeler. The hinge, you know, that plastic hinge. It's, you know, it's like this thing's always trying to close on you. I know it's something silly about a case, but that's just one thing. But again, I do a lot of slotted, so I bought this set because it had a lot of slotted. And then eventually I was looking for that, you know, that other one, and this is the one I wound up with, the Chapman, which we're going to talk about in a minute. But I want to show you how, even here, if I take one of the Wheeler bits and put it in here, you can see I'll put that bit in here. You could see that I still get deflection, up and down deflection, you see? But it's better, much better than the screwdriver. But if I use the one from the Craftsman set here, I get that in here, and watch this. That's about as good as you're going to get, you know. You don't really get any more. And they are hollow ground, which means you'll get a parallel, it won't twist out. But then I went and I got this set here because it had a bunch of different slotted. And this is what we're going to talk about now. The Chapman screwdriver set, gunsmith screwdriver. Now this is the set that 357 Magdad asked me about. He was saying about, what about the Chapman manufacturer? And I'll tell you the truth, I was looking at Brownell. I was looking, first of all, I wanted USA made. That's number one. I wanted it made. I'm done with this Chinese. So I wanted it USA. I mean, Taiwan is good. You don't see too many of these coming out of Taiwan, but a lot come out of China. I didn't want nothing from China. Secondly, I didn't want magnetic bit retention. This is a magnetic bit retention, right? You see here, it goes in like this. There's a magnet in here, and it gets sucked in by the magnet. But look what happens. You tend to pick up a lot of, you know, metal filings and things like that on the tip, you know, and I do a lot of metalworks, as you know, so I didn't want that. I wanted something that was non-magnetic. This is one of the few sets that are like that. Chapman is manufactured in Durham, Connecticut, and they've been in the same building since 1965, been in business since 1936. Here we go, 1936. They've been in business since, and it's a well-run organization in the sense that a lot of problems you have when you're buying, you know, if you want to, let's say you turn a bit and you twist it or you bend it or you break it, another bit will cost you a lot of money in a lot of other places. But here, their replacement parts are very economical as far as the kits are economical. It's made in the USA. It's got a lot of cool features we're going to talk about. And so that's why I tried this one out. Let me show you a little bit about it. Now, they have all different style kits, you know, ranging from, you know, the high $20 up to, I guess, over 100. And this one here is their midline kit. It's kit number 8900. This one runs about $51 or so. And you can see what it comes with. Now, first of all, it comes with, obviously, the handle here. Now, let me show you. We're just going to take a standard bit here. Now, if you notice, the bits are different on this, and the fact that they have a ball detent, so that it's non-magnetic, so which is nice. You know, you don't have to worry about picking up all that stuff. Secondly, all the bits have a little knurled knob at the end so that you can use it. If you can use your fingers to twist it until it gets snug or whatever, and then put the handle of your choice. They're all stamped and marked that if you do damage a bit, you can always get another one. The bits run about $2 a piece. These bits are also made that you can grind them down yourself if you have a specific screw that you'd want to custom fit. So that's also nice. You know, for $2, you're not going to worry about grinding a bit down, and you can always get replacements. Now, you could put it right into the handle like this. You could see here, it won't come out because, like I said, the ball detent holds it in tight. And you could use it like this, or obviously it has the extension. Here's the extension here. You put the bit into the extension, and then you can put the extension into the handle here. Again, both will hold because there's, you know, they're ball detent without magnetic. You can use, again, it's got the knurl part here, so you can screw this like this if you had to, you know, for low torque applications or snugging a screw up. Then it has this here, this Chapman tool. It's a ratcheting, well, it's a ratchet actually, that you could put your screw into here, and then you could turn it like this here, or you can put your thumb on top of here and use it like this to get more leverage. And if you want to reverse it, you just turn the wrench around and put it in the other way, and now that would be loosening. So that's pretty interesting. It's got a knob here that will fit over the top here of the bit that you can use if you wanted to, a star knob more or less, if you wanted to do it like that. This is pretty interesting, I thought. You can put here's our bit into our extension, and you could put the ratcheting handle onto here like this, and you can see there's a stop so it can't go down any further. Then you can put the handle on like this, and now you have a ratcheting screwdriver that you can hold and press towards the product. So it's well thought out. It's been, you know, the parts are pretty much interchangeable since the 30s. They've had this design. It's well used. It's pretty economical compared to some of the other ones. Now, true gunsmiths, I heard like the Brownell, they're supposed to be really good, but you know, they're quite a bit more money. So that's, you know, you have to draw the line of what you can afford. For the average homeowner, like I consider myself, I wanted a lot of these type bits here. And the fact that the price is low enough, I can grind them or do what I have to custom fit them. I just thought this was an interesting kit. Another nice thing is it's got the hinge case that you don't have to worry about, you know, breaking or something like that. So that's what I wanted to pick out today. These are quite nice. Now, one thing I found out about the gunsmith screwdriver sets, or especially with these bits, the bits are made to kind of torque or bend or break before you break the screw. So they're not made, if you're thinking that we can use them to for those stubborn screws that we have that are frozen. This won't do any, you know, a regular screwdriver will probably be stronger than the bits because, like I said, they're tempered specifically out of tool steel that they'll bend or break before they damage the screw or break the screw off into the components. So that's something to think about. But it's interesting, and again, I'm a tool guy, so I like all kinds of sets. But it's an interesting set, and I just want to throw it out there in case some of you were looking for an inexpensive USA-made set that is of quality, and parts are readily available and will be for some time. Next up, speaking of screwdrivers, I came across this cool Polish screwdriver I wanted to show you. Let's go check it out. Okay, in case for a lot of you didn't know that I am part Polish, and proud of that part Polish that I have. And when I was growing up, obviously in the 60s and 70s, there was a lot of Polish jokes when I was a kid. And, you know, I was a little bit shy about that part of my heritage until I got into scouting when two of my scout leaders, Mr. Wexler and Mr. Dombrowski, were two of the best craftsmen I ever met. And I was very proud to be part of that heritage. So when I saw this screwdriver made in Poland, I said, you know something, I'm going to jump on this. And let me tell you, this is the heaviest. This is such a heavy screwdriver and well made. But it's very interesting because look at that blade. It's a kind of an odd thing, right? That blade, the way it's shaped, and also the handle here. And you can see this top piece has got me bedazzled, you know, this flat, because that sharp edge over here doesn't make it comfortable for the hand. So we're going to have to eliminate that. That's got to go. But it is interesting, and it's obviously super solid because they use these two-piece, you see the two-piece rivets, you see that one in the middle, and so these usually don't loosen up. The handles are solid. The problem is, because the handles shrunk over the years, a little bit of metal, you could see that the little lip there, so it's sharp, and I could feel it on my hands. It's not comfortable. We'll have to address that, but it's super thick, super heavy, and I thought we would have some fun. And this is sharp too down here. It's an oddball. You know what? When I first got it, I said, you know what'd be cool? You form this into an arrow shape. This would be an amazing weapon, wouldn't it? If you formed this into a point here like this and you sharpen these barbs, it would be like an ice pick on steroids, as far as, but, we're here for two. So I got to address this back part here. Let's do a little wire brush evaluation, see if there's anything about the tip. Okay, here we are after our post wire brushing, and I only do that to see if there's any writing or anything on here that we might want to keep. And there's nothing on the blade. There's no writing. You can see that's quite a wedge on here, huh? And I figure it's probably used for some kind of machine screw. Here's a machine screw that they probably, for a larger one, obviously, because it's a big screwdriver. But this thing here, and you can see here, it's got a lettering on here, KT, and then it's got another marking over there, and probably just markings that almost like inspection markings. There you go, Poland. There we go. And now the other thing is, again, this sharp edge here. This is just ridiculous. And now I know some people like to tap the top of screwdrivers to loosen the screw and whatnot, and it's an acceptable practice. But to have it flat like that just for that area, now this creates that wedge that you really couldn't put a lot of pressure on without giving you some kind. So that's got to be softened out. And the other thing is, if you're hammering on this, it's going to mushroom out. It's really not a good design to have that. A rounded top would be much better because you could still use your soft blow hammer to whack it or whatever. So let's see what we can do with this. Okay, we got our initial grind down, and we did that with the grinding wheel because it's just it's much quicker than this is a hardened steel, and it's much quicker on the grinding stone than it is using a belt. But we have the contour because I kept taking it, putting my hand. It fits right in that pocket over there, and it feels really good. Plus, you still have that little flat spot if you had to tap it, and it doesn't take away from the character of the initial screwdriver look. So now we'll take it to the belt sander, contour it, get rid of the stains and things like that, and we'll try and just give this a little bit more of a hollow grind because, Okay, here we're going to use a brand new Grizzly 80 grit belt. You can see there's arrows on the belt. That belt is meant to go, it's a direction of rotation. It's only because of the way it's designed that you wouldn't want to put it on the other way because it'll last longer if you put it this way on. And then kind of self-tracking. Now, whenever you have a new belt on, because you always hear me talk about worn belts, whenever you have a new belt on, it's going to be very aggressive in the beginning. So what you want to do is you want to take the tool, the parts that you want to get the most off of first. Now, you can see here we want to address this because it's got some scratches. So we're going to use this first, and then we'll hit the sides here. And obviously you don't want to hit this because this is only a little bit of staining. It's not going to need a lot. So we'll wait till the belt is worn before we work up this way. But we'll take off all the stuff down here that we want to take off with the fresh belt. Okay, here we are. We took it down now. And let me tell you something. This is now I got to tell you, one of my favorite screwdrivers. The way this back came out here, I didn't polish or anything yet. That's just the initial formation, the way it feels. Oh my God. All these, remember them seams that were here? Now, obviously, you're going to lose some of the, the stampings or whatever. You can make a little bit out there, but you have to draw that line. What do you want? These rivets were proud, and they were digging into your hand. Now everything is just... It's glorious, but now I'm going to put some stain on it, and then we'll do our final polishing and see what it looks like. Now, when you're putting the stain on, you're going to put it on pretty heavy because you want it to soak in. You want the wood to let it soak in as much as it wants. So, and this is important, just let it soak in for a while, and then you're going to wipe off the excess gently, but let it soak in for a few minutes. You're wiping it around, kind of moving it around. And this is Gunstock, Minwax Gunstock stain. Love this stuff. Love the color. but it'll be much lighter when we wipe it off. Now, you're letting the wood absorb it as it wants to, as the grain wants to absorb. Then you're going to wipe off, make sure you wipe off all the metal, including these rivets. You want to wipe them off. You don't want any color on those rivets. That'll make the screwdriver pop more or less. So after this, then we'll just wipe it off with a clean rag and, let it absorb what it wants. It's been on there for a few minutes. You think it absorbed what it wanted to. Just take a paper towel and wipe it off gently. And you can see it's picking up some of that stain. Now, the wood is going to absorb the stain because we sanded it down. So it's going to absorb it as much as it wants, which is good. Then you're going to let this dry. Again, wiping off all the metal and everything. You're going to let this dry, and it's going to come out really nice looking like that. And then you're going to put your clear coat or whatever you want over. But remember, take a Q-tip with some thinner and wipe off all these rivets and everything because you want them shiny. Now, when you're happy with the color, if you think it's a little bit too light, you can go over it again with a little bit more stain, and let it absorb. But I'm very happy with this color now. And now what I'm going to do is, I already went through with a little paper towel, but I'm going to take a Q-tip with some thinner and make sure you get all around the edge here because you don't want that thinner to dry on there and take off. And also, like I said, the rivets, these got to be cleaned off, and you got to do it gently. And then we'll put some finish on there to protect the stain. Okay, we'll hang that over the furnace for a couple hours while we go upstairs, have dinner. This wasn't too bad. It wasn't 3 hours. Anyway, we'll go upstairs, have some dinner, let that soak in and get a good coating and dry, and then we'll come down and we'll start adding our coats of shellac. And what we're going to do is we're going to put shellac on, then steel wool it, then put more shellac on, steel wool until we get the finish we want. And then we'll see what it looks like. I'm loving it so far. It feels like a whole different screwdriver.
Now, my favorite part. Remember what this Polish screwdriver looked like before we started?
And we're calling this project done. This one here was a little tricky, but it came out exactly like I was hoping. Except for one thing, and I'll show you what that is in a moment. First, let's take a look at this handle here. Look at this, how this came out. Look at that grain there. Can you see that? Now, what this is you can see it was a coat of, it was a gunstock stain, followed by 3 coats of shellac. And when you, in between the coats of shellac, you steel wool it. And so you just get the right sheen that you like. And that, for me, is just the one I like. And look at that beautiful grain in that wood. Isn't that nice compared to what it used to be? And now here, of course, is the whole reason that I actually, thought that this would make such a great... You see the way that tip is shaped now? That's the proper way. That big seam up there was just ridiculous. I don't know why. I did some research on the screwdriver, and I could see, first of all, it came... I'm dating this somewhere around the 60s, maybe, and they came in, you could see here, a set of 4. And they also had little difference in the tips, because they had different sizes. This would be the larger one. Now, you see this tip here. This tip was a little difficult for me because I was, I don't know. It's the whole reason I kind of went for this screwdriver is because it had that unusual tip, but I'm not crazy about it. I almost wanted to, take off these corners and have this tapered down. And what's another funny thing about this? We talk about hollow grind, meaning we take that grind in like this. This screwdriver has a hollow grind this way. It's the most unusual thing, and I kept it, but I don't know what I'm going to do. I almost lost sleep over this tip because I don't know what I want to do with it. I also engraved, it's going to be a little difficult to see here, but if you see here, I engraved Poland on here. Can you see that? Poland? I engraved Poland on there because you had to take it off the handle, and I just want to remember where it came from. But other than that, it's the shaft, everything came out nice, the tip, obviously, except, I don't know, what do you think? You think I should regrind this into, or leave it block? It definitely, it's so strange because the top now is so comfortable and so beautiful and just a beautiful handle. And then you got this blocky, primitive style tip on here. And you could see the tips on the other ones were, different according to the size. You could see in the photo, the smaller ones had a more graceful tip to them. One thing I want to point out is, of all the wooden handle screwdrivers I've done, and we've all done here, I've always found that the German and Polish and European ones that had the big rivets, these 2-piece rivets, it seems like the handles are always tight. The screwdrivers with the small pins, the perfect handles, things like that, the handles always loosened up. I don't know if that has anything to do with anything, but I always like the big pin screwdrivers for that reason, or whatever they were, because they never loosen up. So beautiful color on there. Nice, isn't that a sweetheart of a screwdriver?
And I'm sorry this video was so long. It really was a long one today, but we got a lot of information out there. I hope you have a great day. Thanks so much for tuning in. Take care now. Bye-bye.